the issue of the CMO on audiovisual. If you get organized well, you come to us through your CEO, we'll be able to have that done so that you can also be able to help the upcoming filmmakers to be able to enjoy the benefit of the industry. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Wase, anything more you want to add about getting support from creatives?
Thank you very much. I would like to challenge the industry that I would like us from today to refocus our energies to repositioning the industry as real showbiz by asking the media to actually have key headlines in our newsrooms within the film industry. I would like to see, for example, today, other than focusing on politics, why can't you have Kalasha, international film and TV market, as your main banner news for the country? If we can have this, and we've got a lot that we can actually cover behind the scenes in production houses. There is a lot that is taking place, and we can also champion this sector in terms of business and also in terms of communication when we talk about social change and economic change in our country. The other component that I would like to ask filmmakers to focus on that the Commission is currently undertaking is that we are currently collecting data from the industry with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics to come up with what we call Kenya National FISA account, Film Industry Satellite Account. The satellite account is aimed at collecting data on daily basis in order to provide statistics as far as our economic contribution, employment, graduation in the industry, among others that are concerned, so that anytime key decision makers in government or private sector are actually yearning to make decisions, then there is readily available information or statistics that will be able to help them make such decisions. So support whenever you get calls from our end asking you for data, please feel free. And also think about formalization of your businesses. Film business can never be a briefcase business. Let us sign up and have legitimate businesses, register companies, sign up with the KRA, have a PIN, pay taxes, and that way you'll be able to do global business of showbiz. That's all I have to give for now.
Yes.
If I may, thank you. Mine is a challenge to the creative and my colleague, KFC. Because the challenge that I have as a communications regulator is that after I have licensed a broadcaster, for example, he comes and asks me, where can I get content? Where can I get it? It is an uphill task for me to send this licensee to my colleague Timothy here. But if, for example, the creatives, you guys, you have organized, you have websites which can even be connected to the broadcasting to CA website, so that as the broadcasters, these 289 broadcasters who have been licensed, and these 18 paid TV, and each paid TV may be having almost 200 channels and all that, they know where exactly to connect with you. Because it is so hard for a broadcast licensee to come look for you. Today when I was walking around, I visited some of our studios here, and I was talking to another young lady who was telling me that they produce so much content. They have made so many documentaries. And I believe many of us here have created very nice documentaries, very nice movies. But how do I know? How does the industry know what you have already created? Yeah? You may be having a lot of good things, but you have stored them in your bedroom or somewhere. It does not help us. We need to have an archive that anybody within the country or out of the country can be able to log in, see a synopsis of it, and be able now to engage you. And how can I get this content? How does it cost? That kind of discussion. And we can be able to have a mechanism of even rating it so that we know which one is the hot cake, and which ones can go with lower price, that kind of thing. So that even the new broadcasters who come on board can be able to know where to start, where to get content. Because they have 24 hours every day to air content, and they do not know how to create it. So what they're doing is that they create talk shows. That's why in most of our media stations, there's a lot of talk shows, because they don't have the content. And some of us, we have very good content, but you just have it in your house. So if you can find a way of integrating all this content into a certain platform, which anybody who wants it within the country or even out of the country can be able to log in, see something about it, and then engage us further, then that will help all of us. Thank you.
Yes, Polycarp. Mr. Wafula, maybe you can tell us. I know you have emphasized the issue of creatives coming together, getting organized to lobby for incentives. Anything else you'd like to add in terms of getting support?
Thank you very much. As KRA, we strongly support the film industry. And as you may be aware, we are in the final months of filing returns for last year on income earned or any business activity. In October, we shall also be having a tax summit, which we call the tax months. Now, to reach out to our taxpayers, to disseminate information, to encourage them to come forward and file returns, we have engaged more than 25 creatives through the mainstream media, both print and electronic. These are the influencers, the bloggers who are part of us. We collaborate and partner with them to pass out this information. And I am here to encourage you that if you have any written content that relates to tax or what needs to be done maybe to improve the taxation process in Kenya, you are free to collaborate with us through our marketing and communication division. You are always welcome. KRA has an open door policy. Usiogope, ukafikiria ati sasa ukikuja huku utaulizwa ushuru, hapana. Basically, it's here to collaborate and work together and ensure that what you have developed is part and parcel of growing the industry. So creatives are part and parcel of activities, especially this month when we are in the final months of filing tax returns. And in October, they are also part of us in passing out the information to the taxpayer. Thank you. And maybe just before I close, on the issue of Fahari Kenya that the Director General of Kenya Civil Aviation Authority has mentioned, KRA is also part of it. We have seconded our staff there for training to be able to manage these drones. But for me, I look at it in terms of taxation for purposes of just enforcement. But at the end of the day, we want to grow the film industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wafula. We can now open up for questions from the floor. We can start with the gentleman in red and move here to the middle. And then the gentleman in white. We can take 3 questions at a time. So, sir, if you can stand up, tell us your name, the institution you represent, and who your question is directed to.
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is George Orido. I'm a journalist and a creative economist. I have a few questions, allow me. I start with the KFCB. The licensing regime that you have, somebody wants to get a license to film, then the first thing, they come to your office, they're asked to go and look for a registered agent. Why do you use middlemen? Why must I be mediated to pay a license to KFCB through somebody else? That's for you. The KRA people, when Uhuru Kenyatta was the deputy prime minister and minister for finance, in his budget statement, he had exempted the artists from paying tax from their work of creatives. There's not a single statement of budget that has reversed that since then. Why do you still illegally collect taxes from the artists? The Communications Authority and Copyright Board, one of the biggest defaulters of paying royalties are the media houses. They owe artists millions, if not hundreds of millions of shillings. And you're there, and the rules are very clear. When they're not paying, you're supposed to switch them off. So communication, why are you not switching off the media houses that are not paying royalties to these artists? Why should we
They are redefining their role to limit it to facilitating international filmmakers. Going forward, actually, we are putting out a public consultation document that will, which will be seeking views of artists and other interested parties on the need for us to now come up with a separate license for filmmakers, so that they don't need to go through the process of acquiring a film agent. So I think that is an issue that is, we are fully seized of, and we've started the process. In fact, we have already told film agents that going forward, their licenses are going to be redefined to only restricted to assisting foreign filmmakers in filming within the country. So that is by October, I think we will have finalized the process of redefining the role of film agents, so that artists who wish to create works in the audiovisual sector can be able to acquire licenses directly without going through the services of a fixer or a film agent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wambua. Polycarp, maybe you can address the KRA issue about exemptions of the taxes for filmmakers.
Thank you, Bwana George Orido, on the issue of collection of taxes from artists. And you called them illegal taxes. Now, when a budget statement is read, a bill is prepared. And when a bill is ascended to by Parliament, it is signed into, it is ascended to by the President, we have to enforce. Well, I don't know at what level those taxes are illegal, but when you earn income into this country, you're supposed to pay taxes on them. Maybe what I can request Mr. Orido is, we have a KRA table at this function. You can come there, I will be there, we can discuss that thing in the absence of the glaring cameras, so that we can be able to find, maybe it was a miscommunication between the makers of the budget and the bill. What are the contents of that bill? We find out, so that I can now relay that information to the management through our marketing and communication division. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, George.
Okay, thank you so much, George, for your question in terms of the broadcasting houses not paying royalty. I know there are steps that have been taken from our side in terms of ensuring that before a license is issued by a communication authority, there is a compliance certificate that they need to come and pick from the Kenya Copyright Board. So that one is being done, I think, with the communication authority. They send, it started, I think, this financial year, so that before they are registered, there is a certificate of compliance. And I think that's the slight step that the government has taken to ensure that royalty is paid to all the creative.
Yes, you can proceed.
Yes, I just want to confirm what he has said. And currently, let's appreciate how the industry works. As the communications authority will give you a license, and in your operation, you may use content from the creative. Now, when you use content from the creative, that's where Kekobo and the CMOs come in. The CMOs operate under Kekobo. I believe CMOs, we know what it means, Collective Management Organization. So the collective management organization are the ones who will liaise directly with the creative on aspect of copyright. Now, the CMOs, they give us, a CA, the information on which media house has complied. And we use that information to renew their license, or as my colleague has indicated, to give them annual compliance certificate. So that it's a mechanism that we have. We have also an enforcement mechanism that is connected with that. But as CA, we rely so much on the information we get from Kekobo and the CMOs. If the CMOs and the Kekobo do not give us that information, we will be at pains to try to enforce a licensing condition, because we are not the expert, we're not the agency in charge of that. So we are actually at the tail end of the process. And as my colleague has indicated, we are working very closely with them. We get weekly or monthly data on who has complied, who has not complied, and we use that on an enforcement mechanism. Now, You have indicated no station has been shut down on this. Let me inform us that KICA, Kenya Information and Communication Act, under Section 83, lays out the procedure of enforcing a station. As a government, we don't wake up one morning, come to you as a broadcasting station, and we just close you. As per the KICA, there is a procedure that goes that has been laid down. One of the procedure is to inform you that you are violated and ask you why have you not violated. Why have you violated? And part of the procedure, you as a station may come and tell me, I am already liaising with the CMOs. We have this agreement on how payment is done. So with that one, as a regulator, I cannot just come and shut you down because there is something that is happening. I give an opportunity to sort the matter. So for our information, I think all the broadcasters, they're either complying or they have indicated commitment to comply, or there is an arrangement with the CMOs on how they're going to pay. So that's the situation at the moment. Thank you very much.
Okay, just a follow-up. So are there any other sanctions other than, because we know shutting down is drastic, are there any other sanctions, maybe less severe, that can be put in place?
Thank you. So this is how the law has been laid down. The first procedure is to issue a notice of violation and give you reasonable time for you to come back to us, tell us the corrective actions that you have put in place to prevent further or a recurrence of the violation. Okay? After that period, we assess what you have given us vis-a-vis that kind of violation. If the violation continues, it means that the mechanism you put in place are not sufficient. Okay? So the next level is to give you a show cause why we should not penalize you. Okay? And once we give you the show cause why we should not penalize you, and we don't get a report that is sufficient, that is convincing, then we can penalize you starting from...
And Arts Journalists Association of Kenya. I'd like to start by appreciating Mr. Owase and the team at the Kenya Film Commission for the efforts that you've initiated in bringing the media into this discussion, because we do feel that this is a very important conversation to have as a sector. And I think we are very much up to the challenge that you have posed to us to really bring this conversation to the nation's, language to integrate the states across the continent. So as the authority mandated with the responsibility of managing the frequencies of the nation within Kenya, what are you doing to really utilize this policy or this development across the continent to position our content or our media production in other countries around the continent? Because by the same virtue that we're able to watch Deutsche Welle here in French and all these foreign programs, it will be very fulfilling and a great step for the industry